Hey, it's Overnight. So, this is going to be a guide just for 700, 800 ELO players, just looking for small tips on how to improve their game. So, I'm not going to break down any top end pro strategies, intricate map details, perfect positioning. I'm just looking to throw some tips, just starting tips on how you could do just a little bit better. And a little bit better might get you out of the 700 bracket, might get you out of the 800 bracket. It might just get you that first win. Everyone loves that first win. You feel good. Fist pumping in the air. You did it. You finally nailed it. So let's try to look at that. So we're going to break down this game, basic decision making, what we could have done better. So let's start off. So this is a casual match on a map called the Static. So I created the map, threw it on the casual game list, and yeah, Spooky Tifa has joined me. So he's actually in the 700 bracket. So he opted to play me. He had the option not to, if you check my ELO rating. So let's look into it. So a lot of people just skip straight over these first few days, but to me they're actually quite vital. So in this map you have a pipe seam, so you want to attack it. So make sure you attack it. So if you attack it 3 times, you're going to break out. If you play Grim guy, he can break out in 2 turns because he's got that plus attack power. So Grim could do that. But this is just Andy versus Andy. That's what the name of the map is. That's what it is. So I'm just practicing on it. So I don't want to think about CO matchups. I just went for a straightforward, simple CO. That's it. I block out everyone else. It's just Andy versus Andy. So first move by my challenger, Spooky T. So, of course, the best thing to do in 99% of cases is always go for the extra base. There is one time out of 100 where you might not do it. Maybe you go for an airport. Maybe you've got a build in mind, you go for a city instead. But seriously, just go for the base because more units gives you more options. So he's gone for it, so good. Everything's going good so far. You can only build infantry at this point. So you've only got 4,000. So I could build mechs, don't build mechs. Or I could build a recon and base skip, don't do that either. So just bad choices. So first up, you want to think income. Income is the name of the game. So I've got to get the base, and I'm also thinking income. So what's the fastest way I can get income? I look for chains. So above the base, there is a city. That's what I'm going for. So you see how I'm moving towards one infantry is going to cap the base, the other one's going to go straight forward to that property above. And then when he finishes, he's going to go to the property above it. So it's a property chain. It's only 2 cities long, but I don't see any other chains that are obvious, so that's where I'm going for. And again, we're going for infantry. So let's see what my opponent does. So, blasting, good. He's going for the city cap, for the base cap, good. So let's see where he goes. So he's gone there, so he's going to go for the same property as me. And that move I don't understand. See, if you're going for the airport, what you do is you go to, you'd probably use the other infantry to go for that. So he probably should have gone over the mountains and head to the middle with the other infantry. But again, I remember I'm not nitpicking for nitpicking's sake. I'm trying to nitpick on small adjustments to improve your game. So just little things. So remember, you're looking for income. You're looking for how can I use the maximum movement as well of my units? Get those cities in the minimum number of turns. So day 3 is here. So 3 turns, I've taken down that pipe seam. So now I can escape. So again, income. How can I generate income quickly? So I know where my infantry on the 2 on the left are going. One's going to cap the base. One's going to cap the city. So my next time I'm thinking income chains. Where are they? Well, here we go, capping those 2. So you see this one? I see if I go here, then I can go to port, cap of that, and then I can go to the city after that. So again, I'm thinking those income chains. That's where I'm thinking money, 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 money. So now with my next infantry, I've got two options. So I could go down and then to the airport in 2 turns. I can go down to the city down below in 2 turns, or I can go to mid. So in the mid, there are 4 contested properties running through the middle of it. As I said, they're contested, so the sooner you can get them, the better. So I did a bit of analyzing on this game, and about turn 8 is when you're going to see some recons from your opponent come in and interrupt those caps. So you want to say, okay, before turn 8, I want a double cap. I want them completely owned. So that's why that guy's going to the middle. And while I had 5k income, so I had the option of doing a recon and an infantry. Currently, I'm thinking income for this map. So how much money can I get? Maximum money is, well, I need more infantry to cap cities. So we know that the base is getting capped. We know that that one's capped. We're going to take out the pipe seam, hopefully. So you see there, yes, he's going for the airport. Good move. But if he used a different infantry, like that one went to the middle, and then he used the infantry on the right base, so the one that's moving right now, he could have done that in 2 turns. But still, he's going to get this one at the top in 2 turns, so that's another option. And he's gone double infantry for money. So another thing that occurred to me was, okay, so if you're moving most of your infantry forward and outwards from your base, you got about those 2 back caps. So you've got the airport and you got that base, in my view, at the very bottom. So if you cap your airport earlier, you could then do 2 movements and then get that city at the bottom. So that's a 1 infantry doing both of those means that you can spend all that time with all the rest of the infantry just taking over the middle of the map. So I'm capping my chains, that's my money. Now here is decision point. So everyone, again, pro players just brush over these small details, but this was a thinking moment for me. So I sat back, did some move planner. So remember I said that recon's going to turn up around day 8. So I want to get those contested properties near the very middle water section. I want those. So turn 4, I said to myself, well, I want my infantry on my left base to go down and get the airport. That would be ideal for me. But if I do that, am I going to meet the plan of capping those middle cities before day 8? And the answer was no. So for me to achieve that, I'm going to have to get one of those infantry to move 3 times, and then on their 4th turn to cap that city. So that's day 4. Day 4 move, day 5, day 6, day 7 cap, day 8 second cap. So that's where my mindset is. And again, I was thinking income. I have 6k income. I could build an APC and I build an infantry. And what that's going to do is that's going to benefit me by moving towards the top left corner and trying to take those caps as soon as possible. So this is an income movement that I'm doing. So in any time you build a transport, whether it be an APC, whether it be a transport copter, whether it be a black boat, whether it be a ladder, you are sacrificing funds that could have been a tank. So I know that because I'm doing this, I'm gambling that I can get those income streams going faster, but in return, I know I'm down 1 tank. So it is always a gamble. It's less of a gamble in fog of war because the opponent can't see what you're doing, but just remember, it's a gamble. So you are automatically down 1 tank if your opponent doesn't do that. So we're capping We're doing full movement of our units, so that's pretty good. See, again, that movement there, you're going down that side. You've already got an extra base on that side, a forward base, so you may as well go to the middle. So I'm not sure if my opponent knew that they could go over the mountains. So he's taken a chain, so that's good. And he's decided to cap that city. So again, still not too bad. Yeah, I think he's forgotten that he could go over the mountains. Okay, now remember, efficiency, and I want to get those caps in the middle. So let's see how I do it. So that one is going there. He's going to start capping. That one's doing the chain. Remember how I started that chain early? That was like one of my first couple infantries. I'm popping in the APC, and I'm doing maximum movement. So remember, I want efficiency here. So a full 6 tiles is what I'm moving. And you see that infantry that just moved. So what he's going to do is there, and then he's going to the other side of the mountain, then he's going to cap that city in the direct middle. I want that one as soon as possible. Remember, before day 8 or day 8 at the latest. Okay, so again, because I did the APC, I have got enough money for a tank, so I am building infantry. So my opponent's gone for a recon, so a day 4 recon. So when you do a day 3 recon or a day 4 recon, the idea is you're trying to not just get information, but you're trying to deny your opponent from getting income. So that's what that one should be doing. So again, you're going into trees. You don't need to go into trees. There's no way I could have a tank anywhere near you. So just remember to calculate those things and think about what is the earliest the first tank can come out. Count 6, 12, 18, 24 tiles to your base and say, okay, if it takes 4 turns to get to me and the earliest you can build it is day 6, well, I'm not going to see a tank until day 10. So you don't need to hide what you're doing, just do maximum movement. So we're moving out to, again, yeah, could have done the mountains to be a bit more efficient. Income, we've got 6,000. So if he didn't do a recon last turn, he would have an extra 3,000, and therefore he'd have 9,000, which could have been a tank and 2 infantry. So he's done a recon instead of tank and 2 infantry. So because of that, he's now delayed 1 turn for a tank. So this is again getting back to if you do a day 3 or day 4 recon, you really got to get it out there to the contested properties. Stop the other player getting income. Don't hide it. Get it in there. Count when the first tank is going to come out, and try and you've got free reign until that point. So get dangerous. Get attacking. So you see how, again, I'm moving to the middle. So this is day 6, day 7 cap, player 1, which I am, day 8, I am going to double cap that. So the earliest that a recon should be hitting me is day 8 for player 2. So that's what the plan is. So as you see, I'm trying for income, but I'm also trying to make sure I get those contested properties on my half of the board as quickly as possible. So you see my movements here. I'm trying to make sure I have 1 infantry going to each city. So one's going to go to, let's go roll that back. So this first infantry is going to go to the one up 1 and 2 to the right. This one's going to go towards the port. And where's this one going to go? This one is going to go towards the city on the left. Now that wasn't a full movement, but I know that I'm going to build an infantry from that bottom base. There it is. And that one's going to go directly as high as possible to those top cities. And so now I'm going for the airport. So because I did the APC opening, I'm not going to get a battlecopter anytime soon. Especially because I got 9,000 income. So I'm going to build. I could have built a tank and 2 infantry, or I could build infantry and 2 recons. So my mindset here is, well, I have just sacrificed income by going for the APC opener. Oh, sorry, I've sacrificed a tank, first tank, by going for that. So I've got two options. I could still do a tank, which is a good strategy, but I was thinking I'm going to go vision this time. So I've mixed up my play. But yeah, so again, like, so this is I did a day 6 recon. So these ones are information recons. They're not aggression recons. So just remember the difference. Day 3 and 4, aggression. You want to stop the opponent getting income. Day 6, recons, well, you just want information so that you can do builds, and making sure that you are safe when you go capping things. So I can see my opponent moving out. Was that maximum movement? Yes, it was. Good work. So here he has built, so his income is 14,000. So he could build, in me, I would think tank, infantry, artillery. You could, I don't recommend base skipping ever. You could do tank recon. So you could do a tank on the forward base. You could do a recon on the top base, and then an infantry. So my opponent has gone, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So good full movement. Again, that's a good thing. So he's done full movement, and he's seen that that city there in the middle has not yet been capped. So that was a good move. And he's moving his units out. Good work. So here is, so he's built. So his base, no, he's on the base skipped. Good. So yeah, always do build, plan to build something at every base, always. So he's built a transport copter and an artillery. So the interesting thing about this map is if you break out the artillery that's locked up on that pipe, you get kind of like 2 artillery for the price of 1. So it's a good thing to do. But again, just like the transport opening that I did, you are sacrificing your strength in order to do something else. So he's gone for an artillery, so you're down 1 tank. He's gone for a transport copter, so you're down another tank. So on my side of things, I am down 1 tank, but on his side, he's down 2 tanks. Yes, if he breaks out his artillery, he'll have 1 bonus artillery, which kind of balances off. But artillery are slow to move, and then you've got to set them up and then attack on the following turn. So you're 1 turn behind on attacking. So you do lose aggression. So here I start my turn with 9,000. I know I did 2 recons last turn. So what am I thinking? I'm thinking tank. So let's see how I move things. So I'm doing my caps. I'm doing my cap on a contested property. I'm doing cap on the other contested property. So remember, I moved that guy skipping way ahead to get that. That one's going to position himself there. I got 1 cap, 2 cap, and 3 cap that I set up all last turn. That one's moving up 1. So as you can see, he's now 1 step away from that bottom property. And this guy's going all the way up and forward. So now I got the choice of 2 properties that I want. I could take the very top city or the one to the right. However I want to choose. So moving my recons out, maximum distance. I'm going for the airport and recon out. So here's my infantry down the bottom. So I don't need to take that city. So remember, it's my city. It's so far behind my back line that the opponent's never ever going to take it. So I could move that infantry forward and back and head towards the comm tower, or I could cap it. So both ways have their positives and their negatives. And because The one at the airport that's capping it right now, what's he going to do afterwards? Nothing. He's just got a long walk to the front line. So he may as well just go and cap that city down the bottom. So I've decided to cap it again. It doesn't matter. Like, I could have had that infantry going towards the comm tower. Both have their positives and their negatives. So infantry that's on the airport, he's now got nothing to do, but when he could have had a purpose to go to that. All right, back over here, this side. So we're capping. So here is something that I disagree with. Okay, so it is day 7. He has built a day 4 recon. So remember how I said day 3 and day 4 recons are your aggression recons. So in this situation, he could interrupt either one of those caps on the contested properties, but he didn't. So that is a waste when you could have had a tank, or you could have a tank the following turn, or you could have had an extra infantry that's capping cities right now. So if you're not using your recon properly, you're not getting your values worth when you could have done something different, which would have given you better value. So you could have had a tank that's harassing my units in a couple turns, or you could have had an infantry that's capping cities, getting you more income. So you're kind of wasting the potential of the benefits of having that early aggression recon, because now he's using it as a day 6 recon, which would be your vision recons. So just wanted to say that it's nice that he's got the vision, but what is he doing with it? So yeah. So hiding in the woods doesn't solve the issue. He could have interrupted one of those caps. And what could I have done about it? Like, if you sit on Move Planner and calculate it, I probably wouldn't have had a tank. If I went everything in on a tank, it's unlikely the tank would have attacked one of those cities. It's unlikely. It's not impossible. It's probably highly unlikely. And for that reason, it's worth the gamble to just attack one of them. Especially if you attack and you're on the road, attacking one of those cities, you could be one shot by the tank. But if you're attacking and you're on the plains or the forest, then you're not going to get one shot. And then you can just move your recon away, hide it in the trees, and it can still have the same vision with 1 health as a 10 health. So it still acts as vision. So yeah, that could have been done better. I'm just saying, I'm nitpicking for the sake of doing better. You've proactively gone and made the day 3, day 4 recon. So you could have utilized it better, is what I'm saying. How's that movement? See, no, that's not too bad. Going for the vision, not too bad. I was thinking, could you have moved around it? So I disagree with this. So you're shooting from the base against the pipe seam. So because you're doing that, yes, you're getting the artillery out faster, but you can't build anything from that base. So therefore, you're base skipping. So you shouldn't be base skipping. Okay, so we're going here, and we're getting a unit out. Did he not drop that infantry? I don't think he dropped the infantry. It's still sitting inside there. So that is a bit weird. I'll just go back and see that, make sure. Infantry goes in. Yeah, yep. So there's still an infantry in there. So he could have dropped out that infantry. I'm just saying that would have been a good move. So now he's built another artillery and his base skip. So he's down a unit for the base skipping and he's built another artillery. So he's actually down 3 tanks when I've only skipped 1 tank by choosing my my APC. So just think about that balance. So every time you don't do a tank, you are sacrificing a tank. So if his opponent, if Overknight, me, did only tanks, like I didn't think about anything else, no recons, no artillery, no APCs, I just went tank, 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 I would be probably 3 tanks up on his 0. So just remember those situations. So every time you do an APC, every time you do transport, every time you do an artillery, that's not a tank. So you are actually losing the game just by doing that. If your opponent chooses to be aggressive. Okay, so I successfully got my 2 caps. So even in that situation before, if the recon hit one of them, I still would have gotten the other one, which is good. Yeah, that's my contested properties out. And look there. So I've got 3 out of my 4 contested properties. I'm doing good. So we're capping. I'm going for the top cap. And my recon has gone maximum distance. So what I'm looking for is when you're looking for vision, you got to think about what is the reason. So for me, I'm thinking, okay, I have gone for an APC opening. I wonder if my opponent did the same. So by putting the APC, putting my recon there, I think, okay, so I will hopefully see from this vision point an infantry pop up and try to take one of those cities. And I was thinking to myself, okay, then I know my opponent did an APC opening. If I don't see that, then I have to think, oh, did my opponent do a tank opening? Did they do a battlecopter opening? Or what do I need to be defensive about here? So that gets you thinking. It's like, okay, so if they didn't do plan A, are they doing plan B? Are they doing plan C? Which sort of opening do I think they did? So my APC is, here's something. So my APC is returned down, and I built an infantry on a previous turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to boost that infantry one tile. So again, it's about efficiency is what you're aiming for. So there it goes in and it pops out. So in Advanced Wars by Web, using transports in and out movements, it is a free action. It's a free action to load and unload units, is the way it's described. So we refer to it as boosting. So the more you do boosting, the more units you transport, you're getting benefits. You're paying off that investment that you made on the transport. So it's important to do that. Otherwise, your transport, you're not getting your full value for it, and you really should have gotten a tank. So make sure you get your money's worth. So again, what am I looking for as I come out here? I'm looking to see, did they take that property next? Did they take their property above their comm tower? Are they pushing aggression towards my top caps? I'm looking for that. So think about where you position your units. What are you looking for? So I played a couple games on this map beforehand, and in one of them, I had an opponent do a battlecopter opening, and they contested my APC opening at the top, and actually won. They won that match because I built a tank on turn 8 and not an anti-air. So I told myself, if I do an APC opening, I'm going to try to do an anti-air opening on day 8. So here we are. That's it. The money landed perfectly. It was 10,000. So it worked out, which I was happily surprised about, because I was wondering if I take that, if I skip that unit all the way to the middle, wherever that would affect me and would reduce me by 1,000. So that's why that's done there. So DJus, a content creator, he usually says on a fog of war map, on days 8 to 12 really is when you're going to need to build an anti-air. It's a proactive anti-air because you're anticipating that there's going to be battlecopters. So unless your opponent is like Drake or Jess, you really should be building a battlecopter, because no one else is really missing out. So on attack damage, so yeah, they're going to be out there likely. Andy doesn't have any negatives towards battlecopters, so he'll probably build out battlecopters. So think about that. Again, I analysed it, so day 8 felt comfortable for me that if a battlecopter comes out, I'm there. So let's look at the moves here. So let's check that again. So we're capping. So this infantry down here in the bottom right goes back into the woods. So it really should have gone forward into the following. So it should have gone forward into the forest down in the bottom right corner. So I can see that he has seen my recon in his vision, so he's worried about it, that it could attack his unit. But for me to attack into a forest, I need 2 units, one to expose and then one to do damage. So I would have to have really a recon and a tank, or 2 recons to actually damage his infantry. So he could have safely put it in the trees there. So that's, again, it's me nitpicking for the sake of you could have done that better. It's trying to aim for improvements here. Oof. So again, see how he's used both artillery to shoot the Piscean down. He's now base skipped twice again. So he's actually done 3 base skips. So yeah, that's 3 units you're down. So yeah, just not the best strategy. So he's moving the artillery down. So I think he could have moved that one to the left, and it would have been more efficient movement than going down. Okay, so transport copter, we know it has 1 unit in it. Okay, so it's dropping down here. Capping the comm tower, we're moving forward, moving down. Okay, so now he's coming down to his middle. And there's the battle copter. Okay, so in return for knocking down that Piscean, he has provided himself with a free artillery. So, you know, it's spend 6,000 to get 12,000, you know, you get a good benefit there. You're increasing your unit count by 1, so it is a beneficial thing to do. But let's look at where we are. So it's day 9. I've tried to be as efficient as possible with my capping, and I've tried for an economy first plan. So let's see where the income is. So I'm currently generating 17,000 a turn. My opponent's generating 12,000 a turn. So I'm getting 5,000 extra turns. So that's almost a tank extra per turn. So just remember where we're at the moment. So I've got vision down in the bottom from my recon, so I didn't see anything approach that looks scary. So I'm going to cap that city. I'm going to cap the comm tower. So I could have kept that guy in the middle. So remember that infantry on the bottom that went for that city that I said wasn't really necessary because it could have been the airport cap guy. The airport capping person goes for it. So that one could have been near the comm tower, now capping in that, allowing that infantry to contest more towards the contested properties in the middle, if I want to. So now we're capping in the top left. So I have chosen to move to the side to see if my opponent is on that city. Because if I've capped that contested property myself, I wonder, oh, why hasn't my opponent done the same? So that's what that movement is for. It's like trying to see, like, huh, he's not there. Okay, so what has he been up to? So I checked the other city, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. This one isn't capped either. Like, So in that situation, I thought, okay, so I'm going to set my recon on top of it and see what's happening. So again, I could be walking straight into a tank, but what did I say before? So if a recon's on a road and it gets hit by a tank as a one shot, it's dead. But if you're on a plane or above, you got a chance of surviving. So I figured that was worth a gamble to see what was happening. So if there's only one tank, I'm all good. If there's 2 tanks or 1 tank and 1 or 2 infantry, I probably lost it. But I'm thinking about, I've got to see where my opponent is, what's happening over here. So seeing this, it gives me confidence, because remember how I said that I gambled on the APC transport opening. I can see, okay, he's got a transport copter, so he's also got a transport. So while I'm down 1 tank, he's actually down one tank. So we're on parity there. So we've leveled ourselves out. But then what other information have I gathered? So I know that he's taken down his pipe seam. So I think to myself, okay, he built a artillery. So therefore, if he's done transport plus an artillery, and I only did a transport, I'm actually up one tank. It's like, oh, that's a confidence booster. So that's where I'm thinking at the moment. So another thing that was doubting my mind was, well, I may be up one tank, but then I built an anti-air. So if he didn't build an anti-air and he built a tank, I'm actually even with him because he's done one artillery to balance off my anti-air, and I've done transport to his transport. So it's like, oh, so at the worst, I'm even. At the best, I'm up one tank. That's my mindset at the moment as I'm seeing how I'm analyzing the match. So here you see I only move up 2 squares, not 3, for a couple of reasons. So one, I want to just get vision of it because that's 2 squares of vision. But also if I stand on the road and then my opponent attacks me from the city, he's got great defense, I've got horrible defense, so he'd do a lot more damage to me. So I'm thinking it's like I can get that vision and see what's happening without endangering my units. So anti-air comes up. So remember how I was saying I got hit by a battlecopter opening before in a previous game. So it was around that top corner because it's just a more streamlined direct route out of the airport to go straight for that corner. So I was preparing for it. Here we go. So we got an APC going up and I'm going there. So I want that extra city, but I want to have a defensive unit that can challenge any infantry around there. So I'm just massing units around there because I think if I can't have a tank up there, then what can I do to protect myself? Like, well, I'm going to just spam it with infantry. So that's where my mindset is at on that. Many infantry as possible to counteract the fact that I don't have a tank up there. But my opponent doesn't know that. Only I know that. So you got to think about, it's a little bluff. So here I am with my recon. So why did I go on the city? So I went on the city for one vision. Again, that defense that I was saying, where it's like if I get hit by a tank, I'll probably still be alive. But I also want to see like what's he capping? It's like because I know he went a transport opening over there, so therefore I don't think he's doing a transport opening on the other side. So yeah, I'm just trying to move myself up. So while I've put my tank on a shoal, which is 0 defense tile, but if you look at the number of spaces, it's 6 tiles to cover my recon, and I'm as close as possible to the middle of the map so that then I can attack anything that comes through there. So that's why that positioning was there. Here are my units moving out. My infantry is down in the bottom corner that will not see any action for a long time. Getting my infantry out. Getting my first battlecopter out. So day 9 is my first battlecopter. So again, I went for an economy opening in this match rather than worrying about anything else. So I had 8,000 and I chose to build a recon and 2 infantry. I chose to build this recon because whenever you move a recon out way in front of everything else, away from your tanks, you know you're going to lose it. Or at least there's a high chance of it. So I suspected that, oh well, I'm kind of overextending with that recon in the top section, so I'm probably going to lose it. So I want to have myself another recon as a backup. And if I don't lose it, well, I'll send one recon to the middle, one recon to the corner. So I got a recon on all of the free fronts. So here we go. My opponent's starting with 17,000 of income. That's pretty good. So battlecopter's coming out. It's actually going to the middle. So starting to cap things. So you see here, he's moved right next to the city. So let's go back one step. So if he only moved 2 tiles, he would still have the vision of that city, but he wouldn't be in danger. So the thing is, I see what's happening, and I'm going to sit on that city and attack him. So it's, you know, it's just like, don't stand next to a high defense tile if you can avoid it, because your opponent will probably use it. So he doesn't see any of my units. He's starting to cap. He's just loading his transport. And surprise. Yeah, I think this was a bit too late to go into the corner with the transport. And that's why I chose to do an APC opening and not a T-copter opening, because I thought that by the time I got the airport online, it would be too late to actually utilize it to get into the corner. Because if you notice, my APC's been up there twice in the time it takes his transport copter to get up there once. So he's seen my units, so he's brought an extra infantry towards the edge. I mean, again, it's not too bad. You don't, I mean, he doesn't think that I've got 4 infantry, but yeah, it's good to defend yourself. So he's moving infantry in the bottom right out. He's capping. Here we go. So again, that one could have been in the forest a couple turns ago, if you remember. But what has he done? Again, he's sitting the infantry right next to a high defense tile. So again, these are the things you got to watch out for. It's nice to do maximum movement, but you got to think about, well, if my opponent is nearby, are they going to use that high defense tile to attack me? And yes, I will. So here's an interesting build. It's a medium tank. So medium tanks are good. They're very scary. But in order to do that, he had to base skip. So that's not the right plan. So if you look at that, 16 and 1, 17,000. So 17,000, you could have had 2 tanks and an infantry, and you're not base skipping. So far, he's base skipped 4 times. That's 4 units he's down. So we're about to hit the combat phase of the match, and look at the total. So I've got 25 units, he's got 19 units. So he could have had 4 extra units. So it could have been 23 units to 25 units. So I'm just saying, again, don't base skip. These are small little things that, you know, you can see the difference here. I've got 25 possible actions. He's only got 19 possible actions. So this go, we're going to see how much damage I can do. So I'm capping. So here I'm going for a defensive tile to attack an infantry. I've done 7 damage and taken nothing in return. So that's strong. Here I've gone, so the first thing I do is I want to see what's happening. I want my vision. So if you notice, before I go, that's my vision. So I can't see, I can see one of the infantry, but I can't see the other one. So I want to see what's happening next to that city. So I do stand on the mountain, I got vision. So here I go, I'm attacking using a defensive tile. So I'm taking minimum damage back, and then I'm cleaning up. So anti-air comes up. Oh, there goes the anti-air. Sorry, there goes the transport copter and 1 infantry inside of it. So that hurts. So next I think to myself, okay, if he's got units there, is he capping that top city? That's what's happening in my mind, what I'm thinking about. So I'm thinking about, okay, so the only unit I can see that could attack that city is my guy that's in the top left. But I need to get vision of that city in order to attack it. So how am I going to do that? And I think to myself, can I use my recon? And it's like, oh, you know, that's pretty dangerous putting your recon all the way out there. Like, it's probably going to get attacked by a tank. So my alternative to that is my transport is still sitting there. So I'm loading up my infantry, because infantry has 2 vision, while a transport only has 1 vision. So let's move it in. And I think to myself, okay, cool, here it is. And then I pop my infantry in, and I got my 2 vision. So 1, 2, one to the side or one to the top. I can see the city now, and that's when I attack. So I've interrupted it, and I got enough units in the area as well as an anti-air to interrupt that cap, pending, my opponent doesn't have a tank ready to go. So again, this is probably a bit of a gutsy move doing this one, but I figure it's like, I've seen like he's not capping any of those contested cities in the middle, so I'm feeling it's a justified gamble to use my recon here, even though I'm standing right next to the defensive tile to attack. Because again, what did I do the previous turn? I built a spare recon. So if I lose it, I'm still covered. I got another recon on the way. So, and then also it allows me to, stop any possible units coming to interrupt that cap that I just did. So here I'm checking the forest, and then I'm taking the cap. So you always want to, if you can, look for your vision opportunities first. So check out what's happening before you go into it. So here I'm going, again, I'm like getting a bit gutsy. So that was a bit of a mistake trying to hide in the forest. But, again, like I felt like I'm in a comfortable position here because like I've got all his attention up in the top left. So that's why I was trying to hide that one there. My battlecopter's moving out. Let's see what else. So I'm just moving my infantry out. Nothing too exciting. And my recon's heading up, because remember, it's my spare recon. I'm not too concerned about it. So here I have 22,000 in funds. So let's think about what we could do. So we could do triple tank, that's 21,000. We could do a battlecopter tank, and then we got, what's that, 16. We got 6,000 left over, a couple infantry, recon and infantry. Or again, like I'm thinking to myself, I'm in a pretty good position. I've just stolen some contested properties. I've stolen 2 of his properties. I'm feeling pretty good here. Maybe I should build an artillery and try to break out that other artillery. So that's happening on my mind at the moment. So what have I done? I've done tank, take, and artillery. So again, my artillery is 1 less tank, but I'm using it in this situation that it's an investment. I break out the other artillery. I get 2 artillery for the price of 1. But I'm only doing it at this point because I feel like I've already got a good control of the map. All right, time to move out. So medium tank comes down. Again, I'm completely unaware of the medium tank at this point. Okay, so he's backing away his infantry. Battlecopter's coming down. So he's got a battlecopter. He knows my tank is sitting around there because he's got the recon in the area. So here we go. Funds. We got, how much has he got? 13,000. So 13,000. What am I thinking in my mind before he starts? You could do battlecopter and free infantry. You could do tank, infantry, tank, recon, infantry. Like, how many recons has he got? He's only got 1 recon. So yeah, it's a recon built, another recon, and another recon. See, triple recon. I think that's overkill because here's the things to look at. So yes, that recon on the forward. He's already got a recon out here. So his medium tank's got 1 vision, just like a transport. So you need to give it a recon or something else for vision. So he's already got a recon on this side. So a recon here is not necessary from a forward base. That could have been a tank. Recon on the top side's good because your artillery have minimal vision. You're running low on infantry, but also he needs infantry because you need infantry to cap. Here he's gone for the join cap. I disagree with this. So he knows that I have at least 3 infantry in the area and an anti-air. So he really should have just run away at this point. Because it's not going to do any good to join because I've got too many infantry in the area. So here is his artillery. So I've seen this go into the trees. I'm not too concerned about it. And then I've seen that one as well because I got the recon right there next to the comm tower. Don't understand. So he's trying to build a front line in order to protect his artillery, but yeah, they really need something in front of him. So here he's bringing down his other artillery. He's walling up, so that's pretty good. And here he's realized that. So here it walked into a trap. So he knows from the previous turn that from the replay, that I attacked his infantry. So he knows I'm in there. So that shouldn't have been a surprise. Yeah, always watch the replay. I mean, we all still make mistakes. But yeah, try to watch it because then you don't waste like little movements and units. So again, let's look at the unit count here, 28 to 19. So if he didn't base skip those 4 times, he could have 23 to my 28. So he would have only been down 5, not 9 units. Okay, so by this point, I got pretty much full control of the map. So I realized I could use my recon to cap that. And my anti-air is coming up to attack that one. Again, like I see the double artillery and I think there could be a tank, but they're probably unlikely to be. So because that top recon, I'm not too worried about it because of artillery, not a tank. If there was a tank there, I'd be a lot more scared. So I'm using a recon first, if you notice in the middle, so let's take that back. So recon goes to the middle first to expose what's happening on that side. I don't see anything, so I think, okay, I can hide in those trees. And you see how it's a streamlined run for my battlecopter along the bottom. So we're progressing. And now you see here my movement. I move in between the 2 cities, so I have a choice. But yeah, let's speed this up. You can see like here I'm moving my artillery in. Get myself options. Infantry are coming up. Whoops, double tap too much. We're moving, we're moving, we're moving. I'm progressing out. Nothing's really worrying me at the moment. I move that infantry back to heal it. It's only 2 health, so I pop it on a city. And I use that infantry to block up so I can't be interrupted if there is a tank or a recon nearby. So that way I know that I'm confirming that's my cap there at the top. The recon's going out, that's pretty good, it gets him some vision. So I see this, he goes 3 unit and then joins it for 6. So he's reducing his unit count. I did see from my tank in the forest there, I did see the battlecopter go down there. Yeah, so I know it's somewhere around those trees there. Yep, so whoops, skip that. But again, I know exactly what's happening. Let's go back. So it's important to see these. So yeah, he's walling up around there. Can we go back a turn? Excuse the bump. There we go. Alright, so yeah, join cap on a 6. I saw the battlecopter move. I saw his recon go down as well because yeah, so I saw all those movements there from my tank in the middle. So when you look at the replay, think about what units you see, what their vision is. See, that I don't understand, putting the artillery all the way at the front. And then there, we'll see how he has no vision around that area. And then my units are just ready to go. And here's pretty much where it ends. So I remember how I saw those movements there. So I move over here and I see the battlecopter and I get first strike on that. I get first strike on that. And yeah, the game is over by now. So I still don't know about the medium tank, but it's too late now. And there's a bit of a gutsy play there using the anti-air, but I calculated that if I lose it, I don't really care too much. I've got so much income, and I'm going to, what I'm doing is by capping the comm tower, I give two choices. So either go for the comm tower or go for the anti-air. So you can't have both, so you got to choose one or the other. So yeah, by this point the game is essentially over. So, and here I go, I just get the city cap, HQ cap, and we're done. But yeah. So yeah, let's analyze what happened. So don't base skip. Try to move as efficiently as possible. Use what vision you have. Don't be scared with your day 3-4 recons. Just calculate the earliest a tank can come, and if it's not going to reach you, just go crazy. Attack those infantry. So it's yeah, little things, but yeah, hopefully you can pull some little tips from this match.